Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So, yesterday the Picard Series 2 trailer dropped, and let's go through it. Yesterday was obviously Star Trek Day, so we always get something juicy on Star Trek Day, and the Picard Series 2 is no exception. The advert, I have to admit, does look stunning, but I was very excited by the advert for Picard Series 1, and that left me a little disappointed. But Series 2, it's looking good, and it's looking old school Star Trek to me. New showrunner is obviously really helping. But how does the advert start? We get the voice of Dahj apparently talking to Picard. She asks him the question though, were you going out to the stars to seek something? Or were you going to the stars to run away from something? Now obviously, we've got the big question there of what does she mean by that? But more than that as well, it seemed odd to me the way she was talking to Picard. She was talking to him like somebody that's known him for years, his whole life. Where is that coming from? And obviously we know Dahj is an android, so is that maybe Data talking to her? Q then turns up, and initially it seems like quite a cheeky, normal sort of Picard-Q relationship. Q reminds him that the trial never ends, and Picard in the advert turns and says, I am too old for this bull. Q's face, when it flashes back just before he clicks, is an angry face. He looks pissed. What is the conversation that they've had that has made Q do what he then does? And what he does is create an entirely new timeline, or change Earth's past. He creates a totalitarian nightmare that Picard seems to be in charge of, or at very least a well-respected general. He's in front of a very large audience, all cheering, clapping, going crazy. A non-Borg 7 of 9 is in the background, stood like a general. We see a flash of the city and a large explosion atop of one of the tall buildings, perhaps that building collapsing in. We then see two Romulans running down a little dark alley. Is this a hint that the Romulans just attacked the Earth? That this is some sort of terror attack? We have to wonder, maybe, is the Romulan plight paralleled in this universe? That they still lost their homeworld? That they've been maybe took into this new federation or empire, this new totalitarian federation? Perhaps the Romulans in this are the good guys and the Federation are the bad guys. Something that we've seen in mirror universes before. So then Picard realizes they have to go back in time to change this terrible nightmare. And for some reason they have 3 days to do it. Don't know why, but it makes for a good plot line. Always a deadline. Always a deadline's exciting, isn't it? And it seems to me from the trailer that they're going to use the Borg to do that. And they go to see the Borg Queen. There is some very confusing flashing images here of memories and all this sort of thing that's obviously going to maybe convince the Queen to help or do something else, or explain the plot. I'm sure Locutus is going to come into this somehow, but we haven't seen that yet in the trailer. The Queen is very different, and we've talked in a previous video actually about how the new showrunner has worked on comics for Star Trek in the past, and in those comics the Queen looks regularly very, very different, actually significantly more like this in the trailer than the Borg Queen we're used to in the past. We then see flashes of the time travel technology or whatever else, and they appear back in time on the 21st century Earth. They could be here now. How cool would that be? Jean-Luc Picard turning up for a cup of tea. I haven't got any Earl Grey. You're going to have to actually drink a proper cup of tea. Sorry. We then see a few flashes of the relationship between Seven and Raffi, and I think that's going to really be a nice bit of fun through this series. And we need a bit of fun in Star Trek. There should be a bit of humour, and it does look like we're going to get that with this sort of buddy copy movie type of love-hate relationship between the two of them. It should give a nice bit of comic relief and an interesting element to the characters. In the video we then see a little flash of Q again, and again he is clicking something into being, and he's wearing a Earth type outfit, but there is a very large prominent Europa badge on his chest. What does that mean? Because it was so prominent, it's got to mean something. We do see several more flashes with Dahj. She seems to be in some woods. There seems to be a Romulan with them and another figure. We're not sure. They seem to be running or hiding from something. I wonder if this is going to play into this sort of terrorist feel or vibe or freedom fighter vibe that the Romulans are probably going to be encompassing. The one little bit as well is the Jurati part in this. They have a little bit of a joke. I'm not a huge fan of her character. She was quite important for the first series, but you kind of understand why she was there, because she was an expert in the android technology and she knew how the android was constructed and things. But I'm really wondering where they're going to go with her character now. I might have a little bit of a... I do feel like she's a little bit of a nothing character and she's a bit of a whiner. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of her character, we'll put it that way. But it will be interesting to see where she goes. And she does bring an emotional element to the series that maybe the others don't. The others maybe just like, get on with our job. And she's actually like the heart of it. So she has the emotions, and we see that again. We see her talking to the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen, by the way, seems to be imprisoned or injured or something like this. She's not walking on her own legs. She's only like that part of her body, and she's on sort of ropes that are hanging off the thing. And so we don't even know how she finds the Borg Queen as well, to be fair. That's another interesting point. How do they even come across her? She's not in the first series. Is she aboard the cube? Is 7 of 9, because of what happened at the end of series 1, able to find her? But anyway, she seems to be imprisoned somewhere, somehow. And Jurati is talking to her, and Jurati seems genuinely upset, in tears almost. And the Borg Queen is just reaching out to touch her face. Jurati seems sympathetic towards the Borg Queen. And I would say, that's a really stupid idea. Don't do that. You're going to get assimilated, you stupid woman. So let's see how that pans out. The big thought I had from this trailer is that this series feels like a crossover between Star Trek Nemesis, the Borg going back in time to change the Earth's past, and The Voyage Home. Them having to fly back in a Klingon warbird to go and get whales from the 20th century to bring back to save the future. It was a ridiculous premise, but it was probably my favourite Star Trek movie. Maybe Undiscovered Country is probably the favourite, because that was the first one I ever saw at the cinema. But as a movie, Voyage Home, fantastic film. The parts definitely where the Picard Series 2 is in the 21st century just gave me that vibe. It gave me that Voyage Home vibe. And I wonder how many little Easter eggs or tributes to that movie, which is considered a classic, let's be honest, we're going to get in the series. I'd love to see a few little nods to that movie. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. And, you know, if you want to leave a comment to tell us what you're hoping to see from Picard Series 2, I'd love to know what you think.